Growing up, I lived two different lives. My classmates looked at me as if I was an optimistic, happy, and spontaneous girl who could handle everything. But in reality, I didn't think much of myself and I was unhappy. Being alone in my room was my favorite pastime. I never told other people how lonely I was feeling inside. Why? I don't know. I thought nobody would care about what I had to say. I grew up in a broken family. Parents divorced when I was 10. They had so many issues that I wondered why they ever fell in love, let alone get married. Every night I heard them having their arguments. I remember very vividly the sound of banging doors and the hysterical outbursts of my mom. There were countless nights that I couldn't sleep and hid under my pillow, begging that the fighting would stop and we finally could be a normal, happy family. The lack of sleep made me look pale with puffy, dark eyes. Maybe I didn't tell anyone because I was ashamed of myself and afraid to be laughed at. When my parents finally divorced, the judge decided that I live with my mom because my dad moved to the US. Although I understood the court's decision, I was terribly upset by it. I loved my dad and got along so much better with him than my mom. He was always super kind, and although he was a man, he seemed to always understand what I was going through as a teenage girl becoming a woman. Our personalities matched, and my body structure was the same as his, even though I was a girl. I had a slim build with wide shoulders and similar skin tone, blonde hair and blue eyes like my dad. Whenever we were together, everyone would always mention how much I looked like him. My mother was the complete opposite and had a harsh, dominant presence. She disagreed with almost everything I did. From my clothes to my makeup. She had a problem with everything. We argued a lot, and it usually ended with me being upset, storming to my room. In magazines, you read about these beautiful relationships between mothers and daughters, but it was all fiction to me. It was clear my mother disliked me. Sometimes I thought she treated me like this because I looked like the man she hated most, my father. Her criticism only made things worse. You see, I was a teenager and started to do things that I knew would upset her. One day, I added dark purple streaks from the crown of my head to the tips and got my nose pierced. "You look like trash," my mother yelled, but I couldn't care less. I started to skip classes and spend days playing poker in internet cafes. My mom was called in by the school after numerous warnings about my lack of attendance. The head teacher told her that I set a bad example for the other students and that they were expelling me. I was grounded for weeks and banned from social media. As soon as I got back from school, she turned off the Wi-Fi and made me stay in my room all night. This was a very lonely time. There was nothing for me to long for. I had no friends, a mother who was picking on me, and a father who I hardly saw. When I spoke to my dad, he said it would be better if I would change schools and go to a Montessori school. He flew down and together we went to see my new school. The head of school was welcoming and explained how everything worked at the school. I instantly liked it because their type of education focused more on who you are as a person and the things you are good at. However, I was still terrified about meeting new students. That feeling changed when I saw Dennis. He was tall, with long hair and a small tattoo on his neck. I was instantly intrigued by him. He was funny and good-looking, but also had a mysterious side, as if he was hiding something. When we first met, we didn't talk much. Like me, he was shy, but I liked him and was looking for ways to get closer to him. Not that I was in love with him like some girls were, I just felt good with him. One day, at the school canteen, he bumped into me and said, "I'm sorry, but can you call me, please? I lost my phone." Of course I did. He smiled and walked on. One evening when I was home alone in my room listening to some music, I received a friend request. It was from Dennis! I couldn't believe that the most popular boy in school sent me a friend request. I accepted it, trying not to think too much of it, but instantly got a message back. "Are you excited about the play?" he asked. To be honest, I really didn't like these school plays, and being shy, I never participated. "Yeah, of course," I replied, and we chatted for hours. Our friendship grew, and when school was over, we'd like to wander through the park and shared our deepest secrets as if he was my best girlfriend. I discovered that Dennis had gone through some rough family issues as well. Behind his brave face, he was heartbroken about the loss of his mom. She had died from a terminal illness when he was just 12 years old. His father couldn't cope with the loss of his wife and numbed himself by drinking too much every day. His drinking habits had made him lose his job, and he had turned into a cynical man without any ambition. Dennis told me that he lost sympathy for his father and longed for a strong father figure, someone he could look up to instead of someone who's always yelling at him. We found each other through our problems, and we grew really close to each other. With the school play approaching, we practiced every day and had a lot of fun. He played the role of a washed-up painter who unsuccessfully was trying to sell fake paintings for way too much money. I had a tiny part, but that didn't bother me in the slightest. I wanted Dennis to shine. When the date of the school play was finally confirmed, I panicked. It was on the exact same day as my birthday. This really sucked because my dad had bought me a ticket to celebrate my 17th birthday with him in the US. I was so torn between the two. I didn't want to disappoint my dad, but I didn't want to miss the school play either. In the end, I called him and explained my dilemma. I had expected him to be angry at me, but he wasn't. He was so understanding and said that I should choose my friends and be at the play. On the day of the performance, everyone was acting really weird. They knew it was my birthday, yet no one said anything to me. I had expected this kind of reaction from my mother, who barely spoke to me, but not from my classmates, and definitely not from Dennis. I was so sad. I had spent hours with them talking and preparing. I had canceled a big birthday trip to my dad, which I knew had upset him, even though he would never admit it. Why is everyone so mean to me? I wanted to run away, but I couldn't. The school theater was full, and I could hear the buzz from the audience getting louder. The music started to play, and the curtain fell. I was blinded by the lights and was taken aback by the loud cheer. That's when I saw everyone in the audience standing up, whilst my classmates started to sing "Happy Birthday." Suddenly, my father walked to the stage with a big bouquet of roses and hugged me. Everyone in the audience clapped and cheered. I was so happy. This was the best birthday surprise ever. I cried tears of joy when I suddenly felt someone's hand on my shoulder. It was Dennis. "Look around you," he said. "Everybody is here for you. You have more friends than you ever imagined. They all love you." Dennis and I are still best friends. I have learned from him everyone is going to experience some problems in life, and you just need to accept it. As long as you cope with it in a positive way and surround yourself with people who care for you and give you energy, then nothing can get you down. I have moved on with more faith in myself, and I'm excited for what the future holds for me.